Hello there guys, RMP792 here, and last night I went to a midnight screening of Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's currently 10 to 8 in the morning. I'm running on about 3 hours of sleep, and this is just going to be my thoughts and impressions based on the film. So what I will say straight off the bat is there will be spoilers in this, but I'm going to give you my general spoiler-free impressions first, and then I will give you a very big warning before I actually delve into any spoilers. So if you want to stop the video there until you actually see it yourself, that's fine. So overall, I liked it. I am very confident in saying that it's the best Star Wars film that's been released in my lifetime. Now, granted, that means that it's better than the prequels, but yeah, we'll take that as a win at this stage. So overall, I liked it. It certainly has problems, and I'll delve into those in the spoilery sections, but for the most part, it works. New characters, I like the new characters. They feel like they belong in a Star Wars film, which is always good. And that really is the best thing about it. It feels like a Star Wars movie. And it is genuinely a good, enjoyable film. And don't get me wrong, it helped that I saw it with a group of nerds. I mean, let's face it, anyone who goes to a midnight screening is a nerd, and these are the people who applauded the title card, the BBFC, this film has been rated whatever card before the film. They applauded that. And there was a bona fide cheer when we actually got the opening text crawl. So, yeah, I saw it with a bunch of nerds. But that is the best way to see a film like this, if I'm honest. So, can I say any more without delving into spoilers? Tonally wise, it felt like the first Star Wars film, I've got to be honest. And I suppose that's kind of what you want. The whole thing honestly felt like a fan making a Star Wars film, which is basically what it is. I mean, J.J. Abrams has admitted that he's a massive Star Wars nerd. So, either way, honestly, I think that's about all I can say before we delve into spoilerish territory. So, that's it for the general impressions. I can recommend it. If you are a Star Wars fan, go see it. You'll probably enjoy it. And spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, I'm going to assume if you're sticking around for the spoilery section, you have seen the film. So, first point, I've got to be honest, I felt like that giant Star Killer base thing, you could have removed that from the film entirely and it would not have suffered for it. In fact, I think it would have been better for it. Because, honestly, the whole thing, it was Death Star 3.0, and that was the problem with one of the problems with Jedi was it was Death Star 2.0. And it was stuff we'd seen before. It's got silly at this point, and making it bigger and badder and whatever doesn't change what it basically was. And for that matter, the science behind that base. So it's meant to be draining stars in order to power itself. Okay, that's fine, but where the hell is it? I mean, if it's staying around in one star system, then either that star system has a lot of suns, which is weird, or it's only going to have like 2 shots, maybe 3 at most, before it's completely useless. So, and if it's draining stars, it's clearly not doing it in the solar system of the planets it's destroying, because otherwise those planets would be doomed anyway without the star at the center of their solar system. So my only assumption is that it's kind of pootling around and sort of stops one star system over from the planets it's destroying, and then sucks in that sun and then blows those planets away. That was kind of that's the only way I can see it making any kind of sense. And honestly, I think this is just J.J. Abrams not understanding how stars work again. We had this problem with the supernova in the Star Trek reboot. But, yeah, I don't think that base added anything. Personally, I would have kept the story focused on the search for Luke Skywalker. So they have to go and rescue Rey because they're worried that he's going to get the map out of her, and more importantly, they want to rescue her because she's their friend. It's the reason that Finn wants to go and save her, and that honestly should have been enough. Especially if they then made it that we think that Ren has the other parts of the map we need, rather than that R2D2 Ex Machina at the end. Which personally I think would have worked better rather than needing that admittedly very nice visual effect where the whole planet sort of crumpled and exploded. But honestly, I don't think the base was necessary. I think it was actually to the detriment of the film. Other things. I like the fact that the trailers are very misleading. They deliberately make you think that it's going to be Finn who picks up the lightsaber and fights Ren, and granted he does do that, and he gets his ass royally kicked, and Daisy has to... Not Daisy, it's because I know the actress's name is Daisy Ridley or something like that, so for some reason I keep wanting to call her Daisy. I'll try and stick to character names. It's Rey who basically saves him, and the scene with the lightsaber buried in the snow and Ren's kind of calling it to him with the Force, and it suddenly whips straight past him into her hand. Yes, I like that scene. That is a good scene. And the question is Ren completely untrained in how to use that thing? Because he got beaten by a woman with no training at all, which means she's either one hell of a Force sensitive, which is certainly possible, or he's just terrible. I've got to be honest, Ren came across kind of as a whiny, petulant child. Hang on one moment, I can hear someone talking. Alright, sorry about that interruption. Nothing important. There is somebody talking, they're just not talking to me. But yeah, so again, I like the misdirection there, and as I said, Ren himself as a villain, he really does come across as a petulant child, which... Okay, the thing is, that's clearly what they were going for. For whatever reason, he's clearly sort of fetishizing Darth Vader and thinks, and he's trying to live up to Darth Vader's legacy. You are not, living up to Darth Vader's legacy, mate. Don't get me wrong, I suspect that's deliberate. And they're hopefully going to do something interesting with it in the future film. So I'm willing to let that, see where that goes. Because it's in particular, it's scenes like when they inform him that the droid has escaped, and he just kind of goes nuts and draws his lightsaber and just trashes a console. But then again, while that's a bit petulant, at least he's trashing a console and not just force choking all his men like Darth Vader used to do. So it's a balancing act, but the actor playing him, somebody Driver now? I can't remember. He's genuinely good at what... he is playing a petulant child and he's doing it well. So I don't have a problem with that. Even down to the fact that when you take off the mask, you're like, yeah, dude, I get why you wear that. You are not intimidating at all. I also felt like they kind of wasted Captain Phasma. In all the trailers, she's kind of shown to be this sinister badass, and she does nothing in the film. She stands there and looks cool. Which, granted, that's pretty much what Boba Fett did in Empire, and he is absolutely loved by the fan base. So I don't know, maybe that's enough. But again, I'd like to see them do more with her in the next film because she clearly survived. Andy Serkis is Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah, I like the fact that we've got a different kind of head villain. I'm just noticing the reflection on my glasses. We've got a different kind of head villain, and I like the fact that he's clearly communicating with them from a distance. And I went to see it with a friend of mine, and we got into a discussion where we weren't sure if that was meant to be a hologram or possibly some kind of force projection. But either way, you get the impression that he's kind of powerful and he's kind of dangerous, and again, raising questions without providing all the answers, which I'm totally okay with, because again, the original film did that a lot, and that's okay. some things we could have done with answers to. Like, for example, the system that got destroyed by the Starkiller planet thing. Where the hell was that? I genuinely have no idea where it got blown up, or why they blew it up. And there's some implication that they crippled the Republic by blowing that up, but it was clearly a really nearby system. And when you saw the sort of city-like planet, was that Coruscant or no? I have no idea where the hell that was, and they never really explained that. So that was just planet got blown away. Might have been nice to know where the hell it was, but oh well. I feel like I'm being really negative in the spoiler section because it's harder to talk about the stuff I liked because that was things like the banter, that was the dialogue, that was the humour, and the character interaction is actually really good. I genuinely like Finn working with Poe. I like Finn working with Rey, and they genuinely feel like a group who are friends, which was something the prequels really, really lacked, but the original trilogy got really, really right. So I do want to be completely positive about that. That was great stuff. It was well written, it was enjoyable, and I really like the actors that they picked for the various roles because they nail what they're doing. They are people being thrust into this kind of fairly horrible situation, and they're just kind of going with it because it's all they got. Which is particularly true for Finn, because you get the impression that they're meant to basically kidnap children and then mentally condition them to be stormtroopers, which, okay, that's a pretty evil thing to do, and yep, I can get behind that as an idea for where the First Order's getting its troops. Admittedly, that means that our heroes should probably feel bad about killing them, given that they're killing people who've been mind controlled, but whatever. And Finn's proof that the mind control obviously isn't perfect. I actually really like the scene where Rey uses the Jedi mind trick for the first time to convince the guard to let her go. And my first thought is, and that's why you don't brainwash your troops. It just leaves them vulnerable to that kind of thing. You wash somebody's brain once, it's going to be more vulnerable to getting washed again. And again, there was some good humour there. Like, which he sort of says, oh, and leave behind your gun. And I'll leave behind my gun. And just kind of drops it as he's walking out. Yeah, that was funny. So, it had the right heart, it had the right humour. There's just niggling little plot points all over the place that kind of bug me. Han and Chewie finding them pretty much immediately after they take off in the Falcon, despite the fact they clearly haven't been able to find it for quite some time. Bit plot convenience, but yeah, screw it. We'll call it the will of the Force. Okay, it is the will of the Force that those two are reunited with the Falcon. Again, it's nice to see Han Solo back, and Harrison Ford just drops back into the role with such ease, and it really works. And even down to the fact he keeps borrowing Chewie's bowcaster and just like, why haven't I used this thing before? It's awesome. And I like that the blasters now look like they have weight, in terms of you've got stormtroopers getting hit with the bowcaster in particular and just getting blasted backwards off their feet. It feels like there's some real weight and punch behind that, which I really like. I think it helps that a lot of the stuff in this film is real in terms of lots of practical effects, and that's definitely to the film's benefit. The one downside to that is that it does mean that when they do use a CG effect, it's more obvious, because there was at least a couple of clearly CG things that kind of stood out because the rest of the effects were all practical and were really good. So it's a trade-off, but for the most part, love the practical work, and I'm very glad they did that. BB-8 in particular, that is a gorgeous practical effect, because it how the hell do they make that thing work and roll around and the head stay upright? It's adorable. And the thing is, I suspect if it had been a CGI effect, it would have bugged the hell out of me the whole way. But because I knew it was real and it was on set with them, I was totally accepting of that fact, because that thing looks like it should not work, and yet it somehow totally does. Now, I'm coming up on the 15-minute limit, so I'm going to stop this vlog here, and I will continue in a part 2 vlog, because I've got more things to say. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in part 2.